Does anybody else remember those 7 random South American guys that popped up out of nowhere and then suddenly debuted for the Malaysian national team? Well, it turns out at least some of them might not actually be Malaysian. Now, FIFA have looked into this. The players have been suspended and they've been fined, and so has the Malaysian Football Association. And I'm going to read some of the details here today, but I'm just going to say now, if this is true, this has got to be one of the most embarrassing things that's happened in the history of Southeast Asian football. And that's saying something. I believe that even my loyal Malaysian viewers can admit that when these guys came on the scene, it was a little sketchy. It was like, where did they come from? They look to be fully Brazilian or fully Argentine. They're from like some small town in the Argentine mountains. Their names are Gabriel Felipe Arrocha, and they're claiming to be Malaysian, and then just boom, they were like instantly in the starting 11. I'm not saying I know 100% these guys have zero Malaysian blood. What I'm saying is the process looked really weird. It felt rushed. It felt almost like a panic move by the Malaysian Football Association, which is hilariously called FAM. I love that nickname. The FAM seemed to be panicking a little bit, maybe in response to the heavy recruitment we're seeing from Indonesia and even the Philippines now, and they said, look, we got to do something. And so in come these players. They immediately start for the Malaysian national team, and they pick up a couple decent results, and everybody's happy. The only problem being they might not actually be Malaysian. Y'all can see the article here. So the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has sanctioned the FAM and the players themselves for breaches of Article 22 concerning forgery and falsification. Does that mean that they faked birth certificates? Does that mean that they faked family trees? I'm not sure exactly what this means. We don't really have any more details. In fact, the only response I can find online is one of the players came out and said, like, yeah, one of my documents got messed up. It's no big deal. But this report states that the FAM used doctored documentation to get these guys in the team and registered. Now, before we go any further, if you all like videos about Asian football, if you're a fan of the AFC, if you're from the AFC and you want to see more of my videos covering the region, make sure you hit subscribe, because I'm starting to do much more of these current event style videos around Asian football. I love Asian football. I talk about it all the time. We got round 4 very, very soon. I have plenty of videos for that, and Asian Cup qualification again, which will ironically involve Malaysia. So again, if you don't want to miss that, hit subscribe. So the FAM's been sanctioned. The players have been sanctioned. The players have been suspended for a year, and the FIFA Football Tribunal is going to investigate these documents. Now, what could potentially happen to Malaysia if this is true? Number one, and I think the most damning thing, is that reputationally, this team is going to get ripped to shreds, and rightfully so. And I have a very strong opinion on this. International football to me is very sacred, and I don't like when these nations go on a recruitment spree like they're a Division I American football team and they're just trying to stack the roster with as many descendant players as possible. It doesn't sit right with me. I understand why some teams do it. I don't lose sleep at night because it happens, but I don't like it. I think in an ideal world, Jack's perfect world, which doesn't exist, all the players come from the domestic leagues, or at least most of them come from the domestic leagues, and then, you plug and play a couple spots here and there in the starting 11 where you need from foreign-born players. That's my diatribe, okay? That's my strong opinion on here. And I think for the FAM to knowingly have registered non-Malaysian players is the most insulting thing to the Malaysian populace that they could ever do. You are taking opportunities from actual Malaysians who grew up in Malaysia, played in the Malaysian youth teams, to represent their country because you want to go recruit a random Argentine with a potential great Malaysian grandmother to play for your team. And this brings back the whole moral question that I talk about even with Indonesia sometimes. At what cost do you want to be good? You want to qualify for the World Cup? At what cost? You want to be fielding 7 out of 11 players who are not actually Malaysian. So you don't even care about Malaysian culture. You don't care about the advancement of Malaysian sports. You don't care about the advancement of Malaysian sporting infrastructure. You just want anybody, for me even, as long as I'm wearing the Malaysian national team crest on my chest at a World Cup, you consider that a win. You disgust me. I think you are the scum of the footballing earth for anybody who thinks like that. You are wiping your ass with the sacred part of international football, why it is more important and why it is more special than club football, because this is not supposed to be something you can just fix by being a wealthy owner. This is not something you can just fix by recruiting whoever you want from South America to come play for you. And if this is true, then I want FIFA to bring the freaking hammer down on Malaysia. And it's not because I dislike Malaysia. I actually really like Malaysia. Arif Aiman is one of my favorite young ballers in all of Asia, regardless of nationality. So do not throw false accusations at me that I hate Malaysia and I want to see them down bad. I wanted to see them in the knockouts of the Asian Cup. I want to see them at the next Asian Cup, but not if you're going to cheat. Not if you're going to do it like this. Not if you're going to destroy the integrity of your federation and of your national team. And you know what? You got enough talent to qualify without these guys. That's the greatest irony of this entire crap. You recruited these guys to help you in Asian Cup qualifying and of course, for the next round of World Cup qualifying. But you already qualified for the last Asian Cup without them. So what are you doing? Again, it's like the greed of these federations knows no limits. You've already proven that you can get there. It just happened. You drew South Korea 3-3 in a group stage game without any of these guys. What are you doing? What are you doing? You have some exciting young players who are actually Malaysian. Why don't you give them a chance? Why don't you give them a chance? Instead, you're gonna get some Brazilians in here. Who are you? The UAE? This is Malaysia. You got a massive population. You have a football crazed populace. Use it. Tap into it. Invest in your own people. Not do this slimy backdoor stuff. Oh, it just. Yeah, dude, man, it makes me sick and it makes me really sad. And I really feel for the Malaysian fans who probably watched that 4-0 beatdown in Vietnam and were like, oh my gosh, these are my people. That's what you're supposed to feel when you're watching international football. You're supposed to say, these are my people. This is tribal. This is literally tribalism. This is not inclusivity center, okay? This is not, let's make our national team as diverse as possible. Diverse of what? They should all be Malaysian. They should all be Indonesian. They should all be Mexican. They should all be Japanese. As long as they're that, then who gives a damn? It's the same thing with the Olympics. You want people from your country representing you at the Olympics because they represent your entire culture. It's not just the flag that they have on their back. It's so much more than that. And I don't know how people don't understand this. But anyways, I feel bad for the Malaysians who saw this team taking some good. They got a new manager in. I don't even know if they've lost a game. They tied Cape Verde, who a very strong team in Africa. They have a great resume recently. And now it looks like it was all built on lies. And that would piss me off. That would really, really piss me off if I was Malaysian. I'd have a hard time trusting my federation again. So that's the moral argument of why I hate this. And you know what? Any Indonesians watching, did you hear what I just said? Can you stop saying that I hate you? Please? Can you stop saying that I want to see Indonesia fail because you guys are Indonesian? Can we please stop that narrative? I just don't like this. Speaking of Indonesia, though, the greatest irony is who was clowning Indonesia a lot for the recruitment they were doing. It was all of Southeast Asia, maybe even all of Asia, but including Malaysia. So you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite and a liar, potentially. So you're far worse than the Indonesian FA. At least in the Indonesian FA, these guys have an actual Indonesian dad or an Indonesian grandpa. No falsified documents that I know of as of time of recording, but you had to go and do that. So you're pointing the finger saying, shame on you, you guys are doing it the wrong way. And then you do it even worse, not in terms of volume, but in terms of integrity. So yeah, like I said, Malaysian reputationally in the mud. The citizens of Malaysia should feel so insulted. It's insulting to the players. It's insulting to the manager if he didn't know about this. It's insulting to the project of 2027 Asian Cup. Here's the bomb. And here's what could potentially happen. And I'm really curious to see what will happen. Malaysia could be suspended from the Asian Cup, y'all. They might not play in the Asian Cup. If you guys remember, Timor-Leste was banned for fielding, I think, 11 ineligible players in their own Asian Cup qualification. Malaysia fielded 7. It's going to be investigated. Maybe the real answer or the real number is 5. Maybe the real number is 2. So what happens then? Do you just deduct the points from the Vietnam game and it becomes a 3-0 win for Vietnam? All of a sudden, Malaysia's got to win out. They got to go 4 for 4 in their final games. I have to be very objective and very fair about this. If these guys are all actually Argentine and they do not have any Malaysian blood, Malaysia must be kicked out of the next Asian Cup. You cannot allow this to happen, firstly, and you must apply the law fairly. You can't just throw the Timor-Leste national team in a jail cell and let Malaysia out because they have a bigger population or because the AFC, I believe the headquarters are in Kuala Lumpur. You know, you can't give them like the home field advantage on this one. Like, hey, man, normally we would ban you from the tournament, but, you know, you guys run the social media team. So we're actually going to keep... No, they have to be kicked out if this is true. And again, the real freaking losers are the Malaysian fans. The Malaysian fans. So we're going to see what happens. I fully expect the Malaysian FA to appeal this, and I'm very interested what the tribunal will decide. If this is true and these guys are South American, the FAM president must step down immediately. If he's not already stepping down. This looks really, really bad. It is innocent until proven guilty, but my goodness, this could be, one of the darkest days in Malaysian football history. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. Again, if you want more videos about AFC here on DeadBall TV, make sure you are subscribed. Smash the like button. You guys let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one.